Okay, let's unpack this. Imagine you've just landed in Chiang Mai, Thailand, today, August 15th, 2025, and you really want to know what's actually going on. We've basically got a stack of the top news stories from the last 12 hours or so. And our mission today is to cut through all the noise, find the really important nuggets, and give you a kind of shortcut to being properly informed about this dynamic city.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, isn't it, how these headlines, they cover such a range. You've got environmental alerts, big development plans, cultural stuff happening. It paints this really vivid picture of a city that's constantly moving. It feels like a snapshot, a vibrant place dealing with a complex world, balancing its history with, well, modern life and all its challenges and opportunities.
Right. So diving straight into the immediate news,
Yeah.
what really jumped out at me first was this high alert. Chiang Mai is facing some pretty significant weather and environmental challenges, like right now. We're talking about a county high alert that's Thailand's top-level warning from their Department of Disaster Prevention, like their FEMA, basically. And this alert, it's specifically for risks of flash floods, landslides, river flooding. And it's not just Chiang Mai. This thing impacts, 23 other provinces across the country? Running between today, August 15th, and the 17th, they're telling residents to monitor things really closely.
And these alerts, especially being so widespread across that many provinces, it really underscores how vulnerable the whole region is to these kinds of natural events.
Yeah.
It does suggest maybe a growing understanding of how connected the water systems are regionally. It almost makes you wonder if Chiang Mai, just because of its geography, is becoming a sort of test case, for climate resilience in northern Thailand. Maybe they're pioneering new alert systems or infrastructure ideas others could learn from.
That's an interesting thought. And the Met Department backs this up too, right? Heavy rain, thunderstorms.
Exactly. Heavy downpours, thunderstorms forecast, even rough seas mentioned, 2 to 3 meter waves down in the Andaman impacting the north today. So yeah, it's immediate, very pressing for daily life and safety.
Okay, so while everyone's focused on these immediate warnings, which are obviously critical, it does bring up the question about the city's longer-term environmental health. Like, what about the actual water, the water flowing through and around Chiang Mai? Because it seems beyond the daily forecast, there's this serious ongoing issue, a long-term risk.
Indeed, that's the other side of the coin. Authorities have confirmed toxic levels of lead and arsenic are still persisting in the Kok River near Chiang Mai. And this contamination, it's directly linked back to gold mining activities upstream.
Wow.
It's really a classic example of what you might call a slow burn environmental crisis. It's not like a flash flood, right? It's insidious. Heavy metals, their effects aren't immediately obvious, but they build up. They impact drinking water, agriculture, the whole ecosystem. It's a really fundamental challenge to the city's long-term health, its sustainability efforts.
So it's not just today's weather, it's literally about the environmental legacy being created right now. That's quite a stark thought. And how does a city like Chiang Mai even start to grapple with these environmental realities while it's also trying to push forward? I mean, what does all this mean for how people actually live and get around in the city? Because there's some big discussions happening about Chiang Mai's future shape.
Absolutely. And you see this tension playing out into really contrasting infrastructure stories right now. On one hand, you've got this very active protest going on in Saraphi District. A lot of local residents there are really vocally opposing a proposed new outer ring road.
Okay, why?
Well, their concerns are pretty direct: disruption to neighborhood life and the potential demolition of hundreds of homes. It's a very local grassroots kind of pushback. But then at the exact same time, preparations are apparently well underway for a huge 35-kilometer Chiang Mai light rail transit system.
Light rail?
Yeah, supposed to modernize urban travel by 2027. So, big ambition there.
That contrast is really striking, isn't it? You've got this major road expansion plan facing hard opposition from locals worried about their homes and community.
Right.
And then this big modern light rail project moving forward.
Right.
It really throws that balance into sharp relief. It's not just about building stuff. It's about preserving that sense of community that people value.
Exactly. And how this plays out could be really interesting. It might set a precedent, for how other heritage cities handle urban expansion. Do you empower local voices in the design, or do you streamline the big projects, maybe risking local identity? It's a key test for Chiang Mai's planning approach.
And speaking of infrastructure and while dealing with challenges,
Yeah.
there's another quieter story, a reminder of past issues the city's still working through.
You mean the hospital?
Yeah, exactly. The memorial marking the structures damaged at Maharaj Nakhon Chiang Mai Hospital.
Hmm.
That was from an earthquake back in March. They're still doing structural monitoring there, and the University Medical Services are apparently still waiting for renovation.
Yeah, and that ongoing situation at the hospital, it really underscores the long-term impact of natural disasters. It maybe highlights gaps in seismic standards for critical buildings in older cities, perhaps? Or just shows how long recovery can take in a place like Thailand. It's a persistent issue.
Okay, so moving from the city's physical shape and these sort of foundational issues, Chiang Mai also has this really distinct image on the world stage, doesn't it? What's happening on that front? International presence,
Yeah.
cultural life.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely does. Right now, Chiang Mai is actually gearing up to host matches for the FIVB Women's Volleyball World Championship. That's scheduled pretty soon, August 22nd to September 7th.
Oh, wow. Okay. Big event.
Yeah, it'll bring international athletes, fans right into the city, loads of global attention, economic benefits, all that. And related to that, the Tourism Authority is confirming that most northern attractions are now open and accessible again. Travel services are running normally after some earlier flooding issues.
Good news for recovery then.
Definitely. It shows the city's pretty resilient, bouncing back quickly to make sure it stays a top destination.
And beyond these big international events, there's that enduring cultural heartbeat that always seems to spark conversation in Chiang Mai. Like, Wat Phra that Doi comes to mind. It's not exactly breaking news this morning, but it stays relevant, doesn't it? A symbol of local engagement.
You're absolutely right. And for anyone listening who might not know, Wat Phra That Doi is a really significant temple. And there have been these recent debates around a giant statue of Tao Wiswan. He's a revered guardian figure in Thai folklore, often shown as a giant. Those debates keep shaping the cultural conversation about the city's identity.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating how these historical sites aren't static museums, they're living places, generating real, ongoing dialogue about tradition, modernity, how cultural identity evolves. So you've got this mix, international events, recovering tourism, these active cultural discussions. It really paints Chiang Mai as this dynamic hub, both global and deeply historical.
And just to acknowledge the full picture of life in a major city like Chiang Mai. Amongst all this vibrancy and activity, there are also the more complex, sometimes somber realities. For instance, there's an ongoing police investigation mentioned.
Right. The local police are continuing to probe the case of a deceased foreign national who was discovered in a remote part of Doi Suthep National Park.
Okay.
And this specific investigation, while tragic, it does highlight the routine, ongoing work of local authorities and the complexities they face, especially with investigations in these beautiful but sometimes very remote areas. It's just a reminder that even in a city buzzing with life and progress, there are always difficult situations authorities are working through.
So wrapping this up, we've really unpacked quite a bit about Chiang Mai just from these August 15th headlines. We've gone from flash flood warnings and river contamination to protests against new roads, ambitious plans for light rail, a major international volleyball event coming up, and even these ongoing cultural debates centered around ancient temples.
It really does underscore it, doesn't it? Chiang Mai is a city in constant motion. It's performing this balancing act between its incredible history and natural beauty and all the demands of modern development, environmental pressures, and maintaining this vibrant global presence. It's clearly a city that's constantly adapting, constantly evolving.
So as you listening reflect on these snapshots we've discussed, what aspect of this urban life, this balancing act between tradition and progress, maybe stands out most to you? What does this deep dive really tell us about the spirit of a city like Chiang Mai, one that seems to constantly adapt and evolve? Something to think about.